Hello, everyone. Welcome to Moonlit Stories. Today, I'm bringing you a tale of love, betrayal, and a second chance at life. After realizing the man she loved only saw her as a replacement for her sister, a young woman decides to rewrite her fate, and this time, she chooses the people who truly cherish her. Without further ado, let's begin.
My sister was poisoned by a forbidden curse. It ignited desires she couldn't control. But her fiancé, the crown prince, was known for one thing above all else:
Discipline. Cold.
untouchable.
Perfect.
To save her, Xia Yan made a choice. He secretly transferred the curse to me. In return, he promised to marry me. I believed him. I thought it was love. I couldn't have been more wrong. After we got married, every time the curse flared up, I went to him, desperate for comfort. Every single time, he pushed me away with the same icy look. "Have you no shame? You're not fit to be the lady of this house." He called me manipulative. He looked at me like I disgusted him. Then one day, I found a painting hidden in his study. It was a romantic portrait. The woman in his arms wasn't me. It was my sister. That was the moment everything shattered. In a fit of heartbreak and anger, I forced him to face the truth he'd been running from. After that, he sent me away to Qingshan Temple. "Until you can overcome this curse with your own will," he said coldly, "don't ever come back." I spent 3 years there. 3 years of silence. 3 years praying beneath endless lantern light. And when I finally opened my eyes, I was back. The day the curse was about to be transferred, my brother frowned. "The physician said this curse is vicious. If it isn't controlled soon, it'll consume your mind." Before I could answer, Xia Yan stepped forward. "If third miss agrees, I'll find her a suitable husband." I looked at him. Last time, he'd said something completely different. "I'll marry you." This time, he changed his words. Did he remember our previous life too? No matter. That made things easier. I cut him off before he could continue. "The physician also said he's searching for a cure. I'll stay at Qingshan Temple and wait. Maybe a quiet life is enough to suppress the curse." For the first time, doubt flashed across Xia Yan's face. "The third miss has an unusual constitution," the physician added. "If she lets go of love and keeps her heart calm, there's a chance she can hold the curse back." Just then, my sister walked out from behind the curtain, supported by a maid. Her face was pale. Her eyes were already red. "Ingshu, you were only infected because you saved me. If it becomes unbearable, give the curse back to me. Don't suffer alone." I smiled softly. "Don't worry, sister. I can handle it." But only I knew the truth. I knew exactly how terrifying this curse was. In my last life, my sister had been cursed by one of father's enemies while visiting a temple. From that day on, the curse burned through her day and night. She locked herself in her room rather than lose control. She even hurt herself just to stay awake and keep her mind clear. The man she loved was Crown Prince Zhizhanbai. Everyone knew they were destined to marry. But the attacks came faster, harder. She would never survive until the wedding. Xia Yan searched everywhere before finally bringing back a legendary physician. The physician had only one solution: transfer the curse to a blood relative. My brother volunteered immediately, but the physician shook his head. "A man can't survive this curse. It has to be another woman." That's when Xia Yan came to me. "Ingshu, your sister is the future crown princess. You love her. Your brother loves her. If anything happens to her, none of you will recover." He looked straight into my eyes. "I've admired you for a long time. Let me transfer the curse to you. We'll get married immediately. As husband and wife, we'll face it together. Even if the curse is never broken, I'll never let you suffer alone." My heart skipped a beat, because I had already fallen for him. He was every noblewoman's impossible dream. Elegant, brilliant, as distant as the moon. Whenever he visited my brother, I'd secretly watch him from behind a screen. The way he held a brush, the slight nod when he listened. Every tiny gesture made my heart race. So when he asked me to marry him, I said yes without hesitation. Only later did I realize he had never been looking at me. Not once. His eyes had always been following my sister. Only after we married did I finally understand. He never married me because he loved me. He married me because he couldn't bear to watch her suffer. On our wedding night, when he lifted my veil, his expression was calm. No joy. No tenderness. Nothing. Whenever the curse struck, I reached for him again and again. Each time, he rejected me more coldly than before. The disgust in his eyes cut deeper than any blade. Someone as shameless as you could never be the lady of this family. When the curse became unbearable, I locked myself inside my room. I gripped broken porcelain until my palms bled. Physical pain was the only thing strong enough to drown out the fire raging inside me.
Then,
I found that hidden painting, a dream he had painted with his own hands. Every brushstroke revealed the woman he truly loved, my sister. My heart broke. That night changed everything. And in the end, he personally sent me to Qingshan Temple. His final words still echoed in my ears. The day you conquer this curse with your own will is the day you're allowed to leave. So I knelt before the ancient Buddha, day after day, year after year, for 3 long years, until fate gave me another chance. As Xia Yan was leaving, he glanced back at me. His eyes lingered on my face for just a second. My lord. I stopped him and asked Ruochuan to bring something over. It was a small cedar box. Inside were all the little gifts he'd casually given me over the years. I'd kept every single one. Back then, I was hopelessly in love. When you love someone, even the smallest gift feels priceless. I held the box out to him. I'm leaving for Qingshan Temple. I don't know when I'll be back. These belong to you. He took half a step back. A hint of annoyance flashed across his face. I gave them to you. They're yours now. If you don't want them, throw them away. All right. I took the box back and handed it to Ruochuan. Burn it. He clearly didn't expect that. His brows twitched ever so slightly. After staring at me for a moment, he finally spoke. If the curse becomes too much to bear, tell me. I'll find you a good husband. I promise you won't be disappointed. I smiled faintly. We're not family. If I ever need help, I'll ask my brother or my sister. I won't trouble a stranger. The doubt in his eyes grew even stronger. Seeing the awkward silence, my sister quickly stepped in. Ingshu, are you still upset because he forgot to bring your favorite cakes yesterday? The moment she said that, Xia Yan relaxed. He thought that was the reason. But those cakes had never mattered. They were just an excuse to see him. Every time he visited, I'd ask him to bring a box from the bakery nearby. He never refused. What I never realized, whenever he traveled outside the city, he'd make a long detour to buy another kind of pastry. Not for me. For my sister. This one is lighter, he'd say gently. I think you like it better. She preferred mild flavors. I forced a smile. My tooth's been hurting lately. I don't really want sweets anymore. Xia Yan looked like he wanted to say something, but he swallowed the words. In the end, his eyes found my sister again. They said you'll recover soon with enough rest. I have some rare medicinal herbs at home. I'll send them over tomorrow. My sister quickly refused. That's really not necessary. But he insisted. Please accept them. I didn't look at him again. Only after he disappeared down the hallway did my sister whisper. Did you and Xia Yan have a fight?
no.
You used to talk to him all the time. Why were you so quiet today? I lowered my eyes. Maybe the curse just took a lot out of me. I don't have much energy. She immediately grabbed my hand. Where does it hurt? I told you not to take the curse for me. You never listen. I leaned against her shoulder with a smile. You've always been so good to me. How could I let you suffer instead?
Besides,
She had to marry the crown prince. Otherwise, how would I ever find the cure I needed? When the crown prince heard my sister had fallen ill, he came to visit in person. He brought expensive gifts. At the same time, servants arrived with rare medicinal herbs from Xia Yan. The crown prince glanced at them. These are. Xia Yan answered without thinking, then suddenly changed his words. There for 3rd Mississippi. I frowned. Was he using me as an excuse because the crown prince was here? I already said I don't want them. Didn't you hear me? His expression stiffened. After a brief silence, he forced a smile. Are you still upset because I forgot your favorite cakes? I brought them today, but they were accidentally dropped. I'll buy you fresh ones tomorrow. My sister smiled. Her tooth still hurts. Don't bring sweet cakes. Bring the lighter pastries instead. She actually likes those more. Xie Yan froze. He stared at me in surprise. He probably never knew. My favorite had always been those pastries. I only asked for the other ones because that bakery was closer. I didn't want him going out of his way. Every box of pastries he bought for my sister eventually ended up in my hands, because my sister had always known what I truly liked. Later, the crown prince took my sister out for a walk. Only Xie Yan and I were left in the room. I picked up my tea. You should be going. He didn't move. Instead, he sat there quietly. The curse will flare up in about 2 weeks. If you keep suppressing it, it'll be difficult. Your sister's wedding is coming soon. If something happens because of the curse, it could ruin her big day. I set my teacup down. You care about every detail. Anyone watching would think you're our brother. He ignored the sarcasm. I just want to help. I have a few friends. If you'd like, I can introduce one of them. For example, Wang Chaosheng. He's well-educated, respectable, and about your age. The moment I heard that name, my hand froze. Until then, I wasn't sure. I wondered if he'd also returned with memories of our past life. Now I knew. He had. Wang Chaosheng looked like the perfect gentleman. Good family, good reputation, good manners. But he carried a secret that would destroy any marriage. In my previous life, that secret became the biggest scandal in the capital. His marriage fell apart after the truth came out in front of everyone. I remembered it so clearly, for one reason. Because Xie Yan knew I remembered. He wasn't trying to help me.
He was setting me up.
He knew the curse would become unbearable without a cure. Yet he deliberately pointed me toward someone who could never truly save me. A slow fire rose in my chest. Back then, my brother had nearly given his life to save Xie Yan from kidnappers. And this
Was how he chose to repay him.
I appreciate it, but there's no need. I'll leave for Qingshan Temple before my sister's wedding, so you don't have to worry about me. As for young Master Wang, I looked at Xie Yan and smiled. You speak so highly of him. Why not introduce him to your cousin instead? I remember she's old enough to marry now. His expression changed. My cousin is still living in the south. Her mother doesn't want her to marry far from home. I smiled. The capital isn't that far. Besides, she'd have you here to look after her. You're always helping everyone else. Surely you wouldn't forget your own family. He looked uncomfortable. I lowered my eyes and let out a quiet laugh. In my previous life, his cousin stayed at our estate for a while. I treated her like family. I helped her choose clothes. I even looked for good marriage prospects for her. Then she found out about my curse. Instead of feeling sorry for me, she decided to test me. That was the day I stopped trusting her. I looked back at Xie Yan impatiently. If there's nothing else, you should leave. He hesitated. Shu, you've become much colder toward me. I looked at him calmly. I'm carrying a dangerous curse. If you're afraid I'll become a burden, then stay away from me. He immediately stood up. Without another word, he left. I watched his back disappear. I smiled to myself. I'd made the same mistake once. I wasn't going to make it again. When my sister returned from shopping with the crown prince, she carried so many gifts that they covered the entire table. She sat beside me and gently touched my forehead. Then she studied my face carefully. How are you feeling today? Has the curse shown any signs yet? I shook my head. Not yet. After a long silence, she finally spoke. Shu, I always thought you truly loved Xie Yan. But today I realized something. When you're with him, you never ask for what you really want. You always settle for whatever is easiest. She held my hand tightly. Love isn't about one person constantly giving in. It should go both ways. She sighed. Xie Yan once told our brother he wanted to marry you. He said it was to repay the debt he owed our family. But when it truly mattered, he broke his promise. Shu, I don't think he's the right man for you. Please, don't waste your heart on him anymore. My throat tightened. I accepted the curse for one reason only. It was never because he promised to marry me. It was because you're my sister. Her eyes instantly turned red. She quickly looked away. After calming herself, she smiled again. The Crown Prince and I already talked about it. After our wedding, we'll help you find someone who truly deserves you. You like tall men, don't you? We'll find someone handsome, someone kind. Our family doesn't care about power or status. We only want you to be safe and happy. My eyes burned with tears. I turned away before she noticed. The Crown Prince truly loved my sister. In my previous life, he stayed loyal to her alone. Never once did he betray her trust. Only a man like that deserved my sister. I took a deep breath, then quietly said, "Sister, I already have someone in mind." Her eyes lit up. "Really? It's not Xiayan, right?" I smiled.
No.
She let out a huge sigh of relief. "Then you don't have to go to the temple. The physicians said there was another way. If you're with the right person and follow the treatment consistently, you can recover over time." The physician had actually said something different. He'd said it required someone who could stay by my side for years. But where could anyone find a man willing to do that? Most noblemen cared more about rules than feelings. That was why my sister had agreed to let me take the curse. Neither she nor the Crown Prince could risk everything on an impossible promise. She stood up immediately. "I'll go tell our brother." I quickly grabbed her sleeve. "Sister, wait." "How can I wait? Tell me who he is. I'll have our brother investigate him right away." I opened my mouth, then closed it again, several times. She became anxious. "What is it? Is his family too ordinary? Or does he not feel the same way? Please don't tell me he's already married." I hurriedly shook my head. "None of those." I bit my lip, then whispered, "Sister, what if? I don't want to marry into another family. I want them to marry into ours." She blinked, then suddenly understood. "Wait, you don't mean more than one?" My face turned bright red. I nodded. She slapped the table and laughed. "Done. Our family can afford it. Our brother can support us. I've saved plenty too. If one isn't enough, then we'll welcome two." She grinned even wider. "Besides, we've got the Crown Prince backing us." That evening, after my brother returned home, my sister told him everything.
He looked at me.
"So, who do you have in mind?" I sat up straight. "The Grand Tutor's son, Suyu. And Du Yanqing, the historian's son." My brother hesitated. "Shu, Suyu is a famous bookworm. He's a good man. But he's the only heir in his family. They'll never agree to let him marry into ours." My sister nodded. "And Du Yanqing, if I remember correctly, his father argued with our brother for weeks over court matters. The last time they met, your brother practically had to escape." I smiled anyway. "I know it won't be easy, but I believe in both of you." I had every reason to believe them. In my previous life, after I was sent to Qingshan Temple, my sister secretly arranged for two men to stay there with me. Suyu and
Du Yanqing.
the Crown Prince had picked them himself. He even joked that if I didn't like them, he'd send different ones after 3 months. But it only took 1 month. Before the three of us were spending every evening together, talking and laughing under the stars. The physician had said the curse would take 20 years to break. It only took me 5. Those two deserved most of the credit. I looked at my brother and sister with watery eyes. Then I gave them my most pitiful look. The two of them exchanged glances. Neither could say no. My sister sighed first. "Fine, if this is what you want. Your brother and I will make it happen." My brother stayed silent, but he nodded in agreement. I broke into a smile. "Thank you, brother." "Thank you, sister." After discussing it, they decided only the Crown Prince could help. No one knew what my sister said to him, but somehow he agreed. A few days later, Suyu officially entered our estate as my music teacher. To be honest, my music sounded terrible, like a cat complaining. No one would call it pleasant, but Suyu never laughed. He patiently corrected every mistake. Sometimes he'd gently guide my hands. The moment his fingers brushed against mine, my heart skipped a beat. His faint scent drifted closer. It was enough to make me lose my focus. 3rd Mississippi. Did you understand that part? He leaned in slightly. His voice was close to my ear. For a split second, memories from my previous life flashed through my mind. My face instantly grew warm. My fingers trembled. My mind went completely blank. I forgot everything. The words slipped out before I could stop them. Suyu blinked. Forgot everything? Then let's go over it again. What did you just say? I coughed awkwardly. I mean, I haven't learned it yet. He smiled gently. No rush. Everyone learns at their own pace. His voice was calm and patient. I blinked. Was he teasing me? Or encouraging me? I honestly couldn't tell. Just then, Xia Yan walked in. His eyes immediately landed on Suyu's hand resting over mine. His face darkened. He strode over and pulled us apart. Shu, what are you doing? I looked up. Learning music. If you're learning, why are you sitting so close? Suyu slowly stood up. His smile never faded. So, what would you suggest, my lord? Should I teach from across the room? I nodded seriously. Good idea. Why don't you demonstrate? Xia Yan ignored the joke. He pulled me aside. You've forgotten already? The closer you get to another man, the sooner the curse may become unstable. I haven't forgotten. So, you should stay farther away from me. A breeze swept through the courtyard. Suyu's light fragrance drifted over. Xia Yan frowned. A man wearing that much fragrance. How is that any different from showing off? Suyu didn't seem offended. Instead, he quietly stepped in front of me to block the wind. It's getting chilly. 3rd Mississippi. Let's continue inside. I nodded immediately. Sounds good. Xia Yan's face turned even darker. Suyu, if you value your reputation, you'd better keep your distance. Suyu chuckled. 3rd Miss is kind and cheerful. We're only practicing music. What's wrong with that? Besides, I've never cared much about empty gossip. I smiled. If you care so much about reputation, maybe you shouldn't walk into a young lady's private courtyard without announcing yourself. Xia Yan froze. I simply forgot. I've done it before. My lord. I interrupted him. That was before. My sister is about to marry. And I'm still unmarried. I'd rather not have people gossiping. He fell silent. After a long pause, he finally spoke. I've always treated you like a younger sister. I smiled politely. I already have a brother. I don't need another one. He stared at me for several seconds. His expression kept changing. Finally, he turned and walked away without another word. He looked furious. I watched him leave and quietly scoffed. Behind me, a soft laugh rang out. I turned around. Suyu was looking at me with amusement. You have quite the sharp tongue, 3rd Mississippi. Only then did I realize he had heard everything. My face instantly warmed. I looked away. Well, let's continue the lesson. He didn't tease me anymore. He simply sat back down and patiently continued teaching. Suyu came every single day, always on time, rain or shine. Meanwhile, the grand tutor stopped my brother several times. He looked completely exhausted. The women in our family even pooled their savings together. They're begging me to bring Suyu home. He even offered my brother money. Please, hire another music teacher. Just let my son come back. My brother happily accepted the money. He joked that he'd made a fortune. But Suyu never left. In fact, he stayed later and later each day. Sometimes he wouldn't head home until nightfall. It almost seemed like he enjoyed dinner at our house more than his own. Today, Suyu's outfit was distracting. His color was much lower than usual. Every time he turned his head, I caught a glimpse of his neckline. I tried to focus on the strings, but my eyes kept drifting toward him. My heart beat faster and faster. For a second, I wondered if the curse had started early. In my last life, he dressed like the perfect scholar. His collar was always buttoned all the way up. I used to worry he could barely breathe. So why had he changed so much this time? Was no one making him new clothes anymore? I was lost in thought when,
Crash.
his teacup slipped from his hand and shattered. He bent down to pick it up. Careful, I called out. Too late. A sharp piece nicked his finger. A drop of blood appeared. Without thinking, I grabbed his hand. I instinctively checked the cut. The moment I realized what I'd done, I froze. Oh no, this wasn't the Suyu from my previous life. He lowered his eyes and looked at me quietly. Third miss. You'll get your hands dirty. Heat rushed straight to my face. I let go so quickly that I almost stumbled back. It's nothing. His Adam's apple bobbed slightly. Before either of us could say another word, Ing Shu.
Xia Yan again.
At this rate, I really needed a guard dog. I turned around impatiently. What is it this time? His hand shook as he pointed at us. What? What were you two doing? His finger got cut. I was just checking the wound. I answered without missing a beat. Luckily, he'd only seen us from behind. You really were? I shrugged. Whether you believe me or not. Why does it matter to you? And why are you here again? He hesitated. Your sister mentioned wanting a new guqin. I finally found one. Where is she? I laughed. If my sister wants anything, the crown prince will get it for her. He already gave her one. If you bring another now, people might get the wrong idea. Just then my brother arrived. My lord, please don't enter my sister's courtyard without notice again. It wouldn't look good. Xia Yan looked embarrassed. I've always treated them like my younger sisters. My brother didn't argue. He simply gestured toward the exit. Xia Yan left with him. I watched them disappear down the corridor, then quietly counted the days. The curse would awaken soon. The more I looked at Suyu, the harder it became to look away. I almost wanted to throw myself at him, but he stayed perfectly composed. He taught music with complete focus. Strangely enough, his collar kept getting lower every day, yet he acted more proper than ever. Even my sister began to lose hope. She tugged on my sleeve and whispered, Ing Shu, Suyu doesn't seem easy to win over. Maybe you should give Du Yanqing a chance. If that doesn't work, after my wedding, I'll introduce you to more good men. There has to be one who's right for you. I started wondering too.
Maybe.
This version of me wasn't attractive to Suyu at all. Last time, things had gone much more smoothly. I sighed. I'll trust your judgment. That afternoon, Suyu arrived as usual. But instead of sitting by the guqin, I stood by the window. I don't feel like practicing today. He looked surprised, but he didn't ask why. What would you like to do instead? I haven't decided. I walked over to the basket of freshly picked peaches. I chose a few of the best ones and handed them to him. You've spent so much time teaching me. I wanted to thank you. These just arrived today. Take a few home. He accepted them. His eyes stayed on the peaches in his hand. Thinking he wasn't interested, I quickly added, they may look small, but they're incredibly sweet. One bite and they're so juicy you'll want another. His fingers tightened around the peaches. He cleared his throat. That juicy? I nodded with a smile. Absolutely. You should try them. His ears turned slightly red.
All right.
The day Du Yanqing arrived. This story is produced exclusively by the YouTube channel Moonlit Stories. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. His father came with him. He chased my brother all the way into the courtyard. General, I only have one son. You'd better not take revenge on him for our old arguments. My brother stood there, completely confused. What? My sister laughed. The crown prince beat young Master Du at chess. So, he agreed to teach our little sister archery. My brother scratched his head. I could teach her myself. My sister gave him a meaningful look. He immediately changed his tune. Actually, I'm far too busy. Du Yanqing tugged on his father's sleeve. Father, you should head home. The general is a good man. He won't hurt me. His father snorted. That's because you never saw him arguing with me years ago. My brother quietly looked away. Du Yanqing grinned. To be fair, you argued just as loudly. His father glared at him. Whose side are you on? After finally sending his father away, Du Yanqing hurried into my courtyard. The moment he saw me, his eyes lit up. Third miss. I've finally met you. I blinked. So have I. My sister blinked too. Du Yanqing scratched his head awkwardly. I keep dreaming about a young woman on a mountain. My heart skipped a beat. Before he could say another word, I rushed over and covered his mouth. His face instantly turned red. Then, with a playful grin, he lightly brushed a kiss against my palm. I jumped back as if struck by lightning. My eyes went wide. My sister looked completely confused. A woman on a mountain doing what? Du Yanqing answered honestly. We were studying scriptures together. She looked exactly like Third Mississippi. Studying scriptures? Yeah, right. That dream had to be from our previous life. I knew exactly who he was now, and that meant I didn't have to be so careful around him anymore. Du Yanqing taught me archery. He stood behind me, guiding my movements. He was so close that I could barely focus. The bow in my hand almost slipped. This man, he was definitely doing it on purpose. During the break, he lifted a cup of water and drank. A few drops accidentally ran down his chin and dampened his collar. I quickly looked away. My heart was beating too fast. I took a sip of tea and casually asked, "In your dream, did you dream of anything else?" Du Yanqing put down the cup and thought for a moment. Then he smiled innocently. I forgot. Besides, we weren't officially anything. If I said too much, it might damage your reputation. I made up my mind. Since you already dreamed about me, then I'll take responsibility. His eyes instantly lit up. Really? Then does that mean I get to be the first? I stared at him. Why did it feel like he had been waiting for me to say that? Du Yanqing happily grabbed my hand. Third Mississippi. You promised. I want to be the first. I looked at his excited expression. I couldn't help laughing. All right. You win. My relationship with Du Yanqing moved so quickly that even my brother and sister were shocked. My brother sat there for a long time. Finally, he managed to say, Minister Du always looks so serious and proper. How did he raise a son who is so eager to get married? My sister almost choked on her tea. Who could have guessed? So, the news that I was planning to marry into Du's family reached the Su family. That day, I was sitting in the courtyard reading a storybook. Suddenly, I heard a loud commotion outside. A maid rushed in. Miss, people from the Su family are here. I walked out and froze. Madame Su had arrived with 5 other ladies from the family. 6 people in total. They were standing right outside my brother's study. General, something isn't right. My son Su, you met third miss first. How did Du Yanqing get ahead of him? Another woman quickly added. Exactly. Suyu has been waiting every day. Are you planning to ignore him? Then someone said, he even kept those peach seeds. He polished them carefully and turned them into a little keepsake. He treasured them every day. I was completely stunned. The book in my hand almost fell. My brother turned to me with a confused expression. Suyu agreed too? I looked even more confused. I didn't know. I thought he wasn't interested. Madame Su immediately walked over and held my hand. Third Mississippi. You gave him peaches. How could that not count as a promise? Those peaches were fresh, sweet, and carefully chosen. Everyone could see your feelings. My husband already asked your brother. We know you want to marry someone into your family instead of leaving home. We're open-minded people. We understand. I opened my mouth, then closed it. Peaches, were considered a marriage proposal now? My brother was still trying to understand. Wait, does Lord Su agree? Madame Su placed her cup down firmly. Agree? If he refuses, then he can leave. I raised my son with the other ladies. Does he really think he can stop us? My brother didn't know how to respond. But Du Yanqing said he wanted to be the first. Madame Su waved her hand. That can be discussed later. My son Suyu is also outstanding. Why can't he be first? She declared that the two young men could decide between themselves. The important thing was set the wedding date first. I thought the discussion would simply be between Suyu and Du Yanqing. I was wrong. The next day, I heard shocking news. Their fathers had a serious argument at a tea house. The winner would decide whose son would take the leading position. Everyone said Lord Su had practiced martial arts when he was young. Lord Du was a scholar. He quickly lost the argument. Lord Su won. Madame Du became so angry that she sent her husband to sleep in his study. She complained, "You always sound impressive when you talk, but when it comes to action, you're useless." Unable to accept losing, Lord Du secretly gave my brother money several times. He wanted my brother to help his son win. My brother accepted every gift with a smile, but he never mentioned a word afterward. Lord Du was furious. He secretly called my brother a golden beast that only takes and never gives. Soon, everyone in the capital heard about my plan to marry husbands into my family. The streets were full of gossip. Many people were amazed and jealous. Even the crown prince sent over many gifts. He said, "My wife's sister will have a family to support in the future. She needs enough savings to live comfortably." When Xie Yan heard the news, he completely lost control. Without saying a word, he rushed toward my estate. Unfortunately for him, the two new guard dogs at the gate were fierce. He didn't even get close before they almost chased him away. So he went around to the back wall
and climbed in.
I was sitting under the corridor enjoying some fruit. The moment I saw him, I sighed. "Why are you here again?" Xie Yan walked straight toward me. "Shu, you're planning to bring husbands into your family? So what? Is it true?" His fists tightened. It looked like he was forcing himself to stay calm. I put down the fruit and looked at him. "My lord, do I need to remind you? You and I have nothing to do with each other. Whether you agree or not, does it really matter?" He froze, then slowly said, "You know what I mean." "I don't." His expression darkened. "You are my wife." I was so shocked that I threw the fruit at him. "My lord, are you dreaming in broad daylight? How could I possibly be your wife? I don't like you." His hand covered his forehead. His expression changed. "Are you angry because I didn't ask to marry you back then? I promised your brother I would marry you, but your heart belonged to my sister." I interrupted him. "You couldn't offend the crown prince, but you couldn't stay away from her either. So you chose the easier path. You married me. You used the Jiang family's name as an excuse to stay close to her. Tell me, Xie Yan, why?" "I'm not someone who needs your pity." He went silent. My words hit exactly where it hurt. After a long moment, he finally spoke. "I didn't. I only had a dream. In that dream, you were my wife. We loved each other. But because of a misunderstanding, we lost each other. When I finally realized the truth and went to find you, I suddenly became seriously ill and died." I secretly relaxed.
Good.
He only knew he died from an illness. He didn't know the real reason. "So in your dream, you were still unlucky enough to die young?" I shook my head. "Then I definitely can't marry you. Do you want me to become a widow at a young age? Actually, even becoming my husband isn't something you qualify for." Xie Yan was speechless. "That was only a dream. I'll take better care of myself. My health has always been good." "I don't believe you. You should leave. Oh, and don't use the front gate. My dogs don't know you. They might not be very polite. Try climbing back out instead." Xie Yan didn't move. Suddenly, he grabbed my hand, then placed it against his chest. I was startled. "What are you doing? In broad daylight? Was he really trying to use this trick on me? Is there really nothing about me that attracts you?" My mind went blank. This man. In my previous life, he guarded his dignity like a wall. He wouldn't even let me get close.
And now?
Had he completely lost his mind? Was he trying to trigger my curse, then use the situation to force me into a marriage? Before I could react, two voices rang out at the same time. "Let go of Shu." Du Yanqing and Suyu appeared together. one on each side. They pulled me behind them. The two men stood in front of me, blocking Xia Yan completely. Su Yu's eyes were cold. My lord, you entered the general's residence without permission, and now you dare to touch Shu? You're quite bold, Du Yanqing added with obvious dislike. My lord, my Shu has high standards. Not everyone can catch her attention, especially someone who keeps forcing his way in. She wouldn't even look twice. Xia Yan sneered. His eyes moved between the three of us. Then he suddenly laughed. You really think she loves you? She has a curse inside her. She only wants to marry you because she needs you to save herself. My heart tightened. In my previous life, when those words were exposed, both Su Yu and Du Yanqing turned cold. They left immediately. They walked away without even saying goodbye. I sat alone in the empty room. My heart sank. I even wondered if I should write to my sister and ask her to send someone else. But that night, when I returned to my room in the dark, I found Su Yu hiding under my bed, crying quietly. Then I opened the wardrobe. Du Yanqing was inside, holding my clothes, looking completely heartbroken. I spent the entire night sitting beside them. I explained. I comforted them. I apologized. It took until sunrise before I finally got them both to come out. After that, they never left me again. Su Yu looked at Xia Yan calmly. So what? Why she married me doesn't matter. As long as she wants me, I'll gladly be her husband for life. I already have my place beside her. Nothing else matters. Du Yanqing nodded. Exactly. Unlike some people. No title, no relationship, yet still trying to interfere. Isn't that embarrassing? Xia Yan's face turned pale. You have no shame. An unmarried woman openly choosing multiple husbands? What kind of behavior is that? Su Yu, you're the grand tutor's son. How could you throw away your family's reputation? Du Yanqing, your father is famous for being strict and honorable, yet his son is willing to follow a woman like this. Don't you care about your family's dignity? Su Yu looked back at me. A small smile appeared. My lord, family reputation and social status mean nothing compared to Shu choosing me. She gave me a place in her life. That is more valuable than anything. I am happy with my choice. Du Yanqing laughed. My lord, you really don't understand. If third mischooses us, that means our family has been blessed. If you can't accept it, that only means you don't have that fortune. And besides, you climbed over the wall. You grabbed her hand. Are you really in a position to judge others? I never expected these two to be so sharp with their words. They worked together perfectly. Xia Yan couldn't answer. His face turned white. His chest rose and fell heavily. In the end, he covered his chest and collapsed. A little blood appeared at the corner of his mouth. When my sister heard Xia Yan had broken into our home, she and my brother talked in the study for a long time that night. Starting the next day, Xia Yan fell ill. Doctors from all over the capital came to examine him, but no one could figure out what was wrong. He became convinced that he was following the same fate as his dream, so he started searching everywhere for cures. He almost turned the entire royal medical hall upside down. 3 days later, my sister married the crown prince. The entire estate was decorated with lights and flowers. Everyone was celebrating. But on that very day, my curse chose to return. I locked myself inside my room. I tried everything to stay calm, but the pain was overwhelming. Just when I thought I couldn't hold on any longer, a soft sound came from the window. I looked up.
Su Yu climbed in.
What are you doing here? He didn't answer. He walked behind the screen. After a moment, he stepped closer. I ate too much at the wedding feast. I came here to take a walk. His familiar presence slowly calmed me. I looked at him. The worry in his eyes was impossible to hide. He lowered his voice. Shu, I'm here. That night, the storm outside lasted until midnight. The next morning, the curse finally settled down. But the peace didn't last long. By nightfall, the pain returned. I was about to call for help. Then I noticed something strange. The blanket beside me was slightly raised. I lifted it. Du Yanqing was hiding there, smiling like a mischievous fox. He looked completely pleased with himself. Shu, tonight is my turn. I froze. You too. You planned this. He blinked innocently. Su, you already calculated it. The curse would become unstable around this time. He is the older one. I'm the younger one. So naturally, we take turns. On my wedding day, I first welcomed Suyu, then Du Yanqing. The ceremony was held with all three of us together. The red silk was divided into 3 parts. The 3 of us held it and bowed together. It looked unusual, but somehow perfectly right. After that, everyone in the capital heard the news. I had chosen 2 husbands, and they had both chosen me. Meanwhile, Xia Yan's health grew worse day by day. Eventually, he became too weak to even leave his bed. My brother visited him once. Half conscious, Xia Yan grabbed my brother's sleeve. He kept calling my name. He wanted to see me one last time. My brother gently patted his hand. Rest peacefully. Shu is already married. She is living a very happy life. You don't need to worry about her anymore. The words hit Xia Yan harder than anything else. His eyes remained open. After a long silence, he whispered, "But I knew her first." My brother sighed. Fate is something no one can predict. When my brother returned, he told me everything. Then he added, from the way he looked, "I think his time is almost up." Sure enough, later that night, news came from the Xia family. Xia Yan had passed away. I was about to praise my brother for predicting it, but then I saw him turn to a servant and quietly say, "Go to the crown prince's palace. Tell the crown princess. Everything is settled. The troublemaker has finally moved on." I suddenly understood. In this life, my sister and my brother had been working together all along. They had planned everything.
Thank you for listening to Moonlit Stories. This story reminds me that love is not about being chosen out of pity, but about being treasured for who you truly are. Shu once chased a love that never belonged to her, but after getting a second chance, she finally discovered the warmth of those who stood beside her without hesitation. The bond between her and Suyu, as well as Du Yanqing, is not just about romance. It is about trust, acceptance, and finding someone who chooses you again and again. Thank you for staying with me until the end. I hope this story brought you a little warmth and joy. See you next time on Moonlit Stories.